Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar Podcast. Excited to be talking to this guest today. It's very, very early over there. Calls himself the Aussie Hermit. And what he does is he helps coaches get clients with paid advertising. Very excited to be rocking out today with Luke Charlton. Hey, Luke, you ready to rock?
I am always ready to rock, Tim.
All right.
Always ready to rock.
Do your ups and downs here. Let's get going.
It's probably a bit early for that, but
Yeah, you're going to wake
actually,
up
I'm
everybody
about
up.
to. I go to the gym. Excuse me. I go to the gym at this time in the morning, so I'll be doing that right after this interview.
Okay, cool. Yes, and for the people who are listening, I'm in Canada, he's in Australia, and it's afternoon for me, but it's very early morning for him. So, we're gonna get things going with the energy here. Let's start off on a good note. So, tell me a story of success in your business that we can be inspired by.
A story of success. Well, I mean, this. Everyone here is wanting to, grow their own work from home, right? So, growing your business from home, and that was my dream a long time ago as well. So I left in Australia, we call it the public service, right? So I worked for the government, kind of like the equivalent of the FBI here, which is called the AFP, Australian Federal Police. And so I quit my job there in 2013 and I moved to London to grow my coaching business. And I struggled a lot in the beginning, which we can talk about if you want, but I persevered and yeah, I as I said, I struggled a lot. I did not earn much for many years, but because this was my passion, right? I just kept going and going and persevered, and came out the other side, and now I've been blessed to have a very successful work from home business where I work a few hours per day. I finish at noon every single day, and then I go play with my kids for the rest of the day after that, right? So I have a very flexible life, which is amazing. And that came from basically not giving up. So that's probably one of the big messages here is like, yeah, you can have whatever type of business you want, as long as you persevere. And that's probably one of the biggest messages. And I can go into like more details on how I struggled next if you want, but yeah, you can get to where you want to go if you persevere is probably the message there.
Yeah, right on. And you know what? That's exactly how I would define success too, is being able to be spending time with family and doing the things that you want to do, right? And having that flexible lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but now, okay, so yeah, let's go into the bad note then. So not everything goes the way you expect it to go.
No. So
For
probably the
sure.
first mistake I made was leaving my 9 to 5, just quitting and just diving in with both feet. If I had my time again, I would have stayed working 9 to 5 and built my business outside of hours, until it got to the stage where it was replacing my 9 to 5 income. I didn't do that. I just hated my job so much that I was just in so much pain that I just had to get out. So that was also my situation. I just had to get out. But in hindsight, it would be much better to just have some money coming in. So I moved to London, and like I took the spaghetti, like with marketing my business, right? Trying to get clients. I took the spaghetti at the wall approach. I just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And that didn't work very well. I got one client in 12 months. Like I was running around like a headless chicken. I was doing like networking events for 5 nights per week. I had my own Google Hangout show. That's when Google Hangouts was a thing. I was doing like webinars. I was in like LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups. And I even got, I did press releases. I even got so desperate at the end that I like joined a multi-level marketing company, like to sell pain patches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what I was trying to sell. I was just trying to get that. It's just because I was so desperate. I was trying to make money. I went door knocking on restaurant doors to try and get clients. Didn't get any clients from that. So I got one new client, and that client didn't even come from my marketing. It came from another program, like a speaking program, how to become a speaker. Program that I invested in. I met this other coach, and he needed help with his copywriting, and so I helped him. So he was my first client. It didn't even come from my marketing. So I went over there with a lot of savings to London, and I came back to Australia with a lot of debt because I got to the stage where I'd borrowed money from family. My credit cards were maxed out, so I had to come home basically. And then I got a side gig in a bar, working in the evenings in a bar while I built my business during the day. So that side job allowed me to kind of pay off my debt and figure out actually how to grow a business, take a couple of steps back and figure out how to grow a business. And we can talk about that as well. But that's kind of like, yeah, a bit of background of my struggles in the beginning.
Well, I mean, you know what? It really does show what type of person you are, really, to be able to just do all that. Like, that's a lot of work. And
Yeah,
especially with not a whole lot of return coming back at first, like that did take a lot of
it really
perseverance.
was. And most people, you know, like in most industries, I guess, but the industry that I work in is helping other coaches. They give up right before, like they don't get clients, so they just go back to a job, which is, you know, it's fine. But if you if you want to be successful, you have to be able to persevere. Like in business, you're going to come up against challenges. And what I found is, like, it is weird. Like my mindset back then was going back to a job did not even come into my mind. I was thinking about it the other day, like it did not even occur to me to go and get a 9 to 5 again. I think it was because I saw this path as my career. So another piece of advice here is, like, if you want to start a home-based business, or if you're in one now and you want to be successful, you really have to see it as your career, right? It's like, it's going to get another job, another career is not an option. Like, this is just what you do each day. So you've got no other option than to persevere. So I think that's probably what helped me to get through that, because I just didn't see anything else as another option, because I just saw this was as my career.
Right on. Yeah, me too. I actually know a little while into it, I think I did. I thought about going to get another job. I think I might even been taking a couple of interviews, and just sitting in that interview room, I was like,
Yeah.
no, not gonna, no. I think it was enough for me to go back to working hard. And actually, I joined a network marketing company as well, and during my struggles as well. So yeah, I mean, anything you can do. And in fact, actually, that was a really good experience for me, because I learned a lot about sales during that. That was for sure.
Yeah. Actually, one of the things that I did after I joined, like I stopped working at the bar, and I bought this other guy's Facebook advertising program, because I knew I wanted to learn advertising. And he put a post up in his private Facebook group saying, "Hey, I'm hiring for my agency, you know, apply here and you'll learn how to run advertising." So I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to learn from him part-time, and he pays me, right? I don't have to pay him to learn from him. He's actually paying me now. So I applied, and out of 50 people, I got the gig. And so I worked in his agency a couple of hours a day for about 2.5 years. And I went from spending like $20 a day on my own ads to like $100,000 a month, like literally overnight. Like I was just thrown in the deep end on these client campaigns. Wow. And so going back to what you said, like I learned, it was such an amazing opportunity to learn from like an expert. So I would say, like, if you're going to grow a business, like a really, really smart thing to do is go work for someone part-time, like as a contractor or something, because all these successful coaches and experts or businesses, they need employees, right? And they want motivated employees. So if you can go work for someone that's already successful, again, you do it part-time ideally, so you can continue to run your own business. It's such, like, that's one of the things that really transformed my life very, very quickly, was to learn from him. And then I went out on my own, and I run my own agency now based on all the stuff that I learned in his agency. I just do all the same stuff. And so my skill level went from, like, 2% on how to run paid ads to, like, 95% very, very quickly, just because I was just downloading all of his expertise.
Yeah.
And I was working in the trenches. And that's another thing with home, like, when you're starting your business, you don't have that many clients. So you're not building your skill set very quickly, because you're just not doing that much. But if you work for someone who has a lot of clients, you're just doing it over and over again each day. And you're just seeing a lot of different challenges and problems that would take you a lot longer to see if you were working just with your own clients, if that makes sense, because you're just not getting that many of them in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, so what was your first idea, your first business idea, when you decided to quit the job and start a business?
That's a great question. I was actually I got certified as a personal trainer, like maybe 2 years before or so. Maybe a little longer, actually, maybe 3 years. So I'd already always been into health and fitness. So I actually moved over, and then I didn't like with personal training, right? You have to like get up really early, and then you've got kind of like not much in the middle of the day, and then you've trained people again later in the day because there's most people work 9 to 5. So I didn't really like that. But then I stumbled across coaching, and and then I thought, well, why don't I help people like with more of the mindset side of like getting in shape and losing weight, and so when I moved to London, I actually moved over as like a kind of like a health coach, right? Health weight loss coach, fitness coach, but more of the mindset side of things. Um, and again, I just didn't feel I like doing it for myself, right? I like working out myself, but then training other people is not something that I was passionate about. But what I realized through this journey of doing my own business is that I really love the marketing and sales side of things. So my first idea, to answer your question, was to be a health and fitness coach. And then I transitioned to, I really like the, copywriting and all that. And so I just transitioned to a business coach. And yeah, so that was my first idea. So I've always been a coach, but initially it was a health coach.
Right on. So, okay. And I think that, so when someone's, looking to start some type of home business, they have an idea, and,
Yep.
it's not uncommon for them to not really understand the whole marketing bit of it, right? That's the piece that kind of catches a lot of people by
Yep.
surprise. All of a sudden,
Yep.
what? Okay, now I have to learn this whole thing. I actually have a question before we get into it in detail, but like, how important do you think it is for a person who's running the business to actually learn that stuff versus find someone to do it for them?
That's a great question. If you're just starting out, like if it's just you as a solo person, like you got to learn it yourself, I would say. For a few reasons. You want to learn marketing and selling because as a business owner, that is actually your job. It's not, you get into business to deliver a service or a product or whatever it is because that's what you're really passionate about. But as soon as you start a business, you take on the responsibility to market and sell, right? To get the message out there and whatever your product or service is. And so you want to have an understanding of how to market and sell your product, especially later when you go to hire someone, you'll understand whether they're any good or not, right? So it's your responsibility to know how to market and sell your product. So I would say, yeah, you want to do it yourself, and it is something that that a lot of people struggle with. Although it is, I think one of the reasons why people seek out me to help them with their marketing is just because I keep things pretty simple. Like, so for example, all marketing. So this is all businesses, right? And we lose sight of this because of all the technology and all the complex stuff that you can do online. But really, all businesses is like, okay, someone's got a problem, right? So they need more clients, or they're overweight, or they want to clean their teeth, whatever it is. So they've got a problem, right? And then you have a solution, right? That's all. That's all businesses like. They've got a problem, you've got a solution, and then they pay you for your solution. And so all marketing does is it just tells people about your solution, just helps connect what that is. Right. And so when we keep it down to these basic principles, it actually makes it much easier to craft our message. It's when the technology that gets in the way, it makes it confusing as to, we focus more on the tech versus just having a simple message that says, hey, do you have this problem? Right. So I'll give you a case study example. This lady hired me to run her advertising the other day, and she helps, she's a coach, and she helps like men and women who are married who are going through infidelity, right? So the man has cheated or the woman has cheated. And that's a very kind of specific, like niche relationship problem. But it's very clear, right? It's like infidelity, like it's like a one word problem. It's very clear about what the problem is, right? And who it's for, people that are married.
Hi, my name is Anik Malenfant from Mastering Ascension, and I've been working with Tim Melanson and the Creative Crew Agency for a number of years now. Tim is my go-to guy for all things technology, and his team have helped me to really create the platform that I need that represents my brand, my message, and connects me directly to my ideal clients. What I particularly love about Tim is before he starts to dive into the technology, he always makes sure that he understands what your global view is, what your ultimate goals are. So then that way you're not wasting a lot of time back and forth switching around technology or platforms. He creates something from the get-go that is scalable, which is highly, highly beneficial for any business. What I've experienced from Tim and his team is they're highly responsive. They are a wealth of information, and they're going to offer you the tools that you need to really make the mark that you want to make in the world. So that's my recommendation for Tim. He's awesome. You're going to love every minute. You won't regret it.
And so I said to her, look, we can literally just run advertising to this offer because it's so clear and so specific. So all we have to do is put up an ad that says, like, hey, are you currently going through infidelity in your marriage? I'm an expert in this. I've been featured on, in this media. If you're interested in finding out how you could save your marriage, let's have a chat. So that's the ad. We're literally just promoting her her offer right in the ad, cold prospects. And we're getting people applying to work for her for $50, right? It's $50 per application, like people are actually applying for. And all I've done there is I've just figured out, okay, what's the problem? Right? What's her solution? I will help you fix your marriage, right? I'll help you resolve this problem with infidelity so you can come back together and, stay married, right? So all I did was look at, okay, what's the simple problem and what's her solution? And I just communicated that in an ad. And that's probably the biggest thing that people struggle with in the beginning is they don't get clear on their problem. They think that they know what they're solving, but often they're just talking about their product. Right? They'll come to the market. For coaches, as an example, they'll say, hey, do you need coaching? It's like, well, I don't know, do I? And then it's like, because they start talking about their solution, they're so focused on their product or their service that's because they're passionate about it. That's all they talk about. And the prospect is going over their head because they're like, well, how does this even help me? And they go, oh, do you need to lose weight? Yeah, I do actually need to lose weight. Oh, okay, well, this is what will help. So you need to start by talking about your prospect first. It's always starts with the market. What's the problem? Start there. And then you talk about your solution. I don't know. I think that answers your question.
Totally.
There's a lot of stuff there.
No, I agree 100%. Like it's yeah. And I think it's because what you just said, people are just super excited about their product themselves, so they just keep on talking about that and doesn't really connect with the person on the other side, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So now, how would you differentiate between marketing and sales?
Yeah, that is a really great question. So marketing, I mean, everyone will give their own probably definition. Marketing I see as what you do to attract people to you, right? So a really simple example of this is, everyone's kind of opted into an email list before, right? So you put in your name and email, and someone gives you like a free guide, like your free guide on how to lose weight or how to get more dates or whatever it is, a free report, free ebook on any subject, right? So they promote this in an ad as an example. And you can promote it anywhere on the example. Let's just say it's advertised. You click on the ad and then you put in your name and email address because you're like, yeah, I want this free ebook, right? That's what I consider as marketing. So now it's like lead generation basically. So I've put in my name and email because I want to lose weight. Now I'm on the person's email list and now they start emailing me, right, about their products and their services. This is where you start selling them, right? This is where you start educating them on your products and services, how they can, what the benefits are, like what the features are, what the benefits are. So I see marketing as attracting or lead generation, and then selling is like, once you're in front of them, once you've got your audience there, it could be an email list, it could be in a Facebook group, right? So once they're inside your Facebook group, once they're listening to your podcast, right? So that you've got a podcast here, Tim. So now people are listening in, you've attracted them to the podcast. They're subscribed. That's the marketing. Now they're listening in. Now you can sell them on why they should work for you, all the benefits, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, is that so? And that's also something that we should learn how to do ourselves and not hire someone to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's your most important job as a business owner, is to generate sales. Because if you can't generate sales, or if you can't attract and you generate leads and sales, then you're not in business. And this is, particularly if you're a solo, like work from home, you're not going to be hiring an agency to do this for you. The other reason I didn't mention before is like, you could go out and hire an agency and, spend $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, depending on what the agency is, maybe even more, to get them to do your marketing and selling for you. But what they're going to do is they're going to go, what's your offer, right? What are you actually selling? What's your service? And if you don't have a clear picture of like, again, your solution and how it helps people, they're just going to be getting you leads and it's not going to convert because your offer. So again, this is another reason why you want to do things in the beginning. So you work out your own message, what works and what doesn't with your market. And then so when you go to hire an agency, you already have a converting message and they just take it to the next level. And you can tell them, this is what works in my market. This is the message that doesn't work. This is the offer that's converting for me. So again, more reasons to learn marketing and selling yourself before you hire anyone to do it.
So, I mean, you mentioned that this is a struggle that a lot of people have. So is there something that, like, is there a tool that you use? Like, what is it that you can share, or is there anything you can share to help someone to get clear on what it is that they do?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is the worst part it's probably the first thing that I learned going into business, and maybe even people that aren't in business have heard this before, right? And I wish I had kept doing this from the beginning, but I went away from it because I got distracted by all the complex, we call them funnels in our, complex marketing and sales strategies online, all the tech. But remember, what's business, right? It's you've got a market with a problem and then you have the solution. So what's a really simple way to get in front of your market? For me, it's just building your email list, right? So you just put up an ad as an example that advertises a free ebook, like a short, I don't say ebook, it's a short guide, like a short PDF, like a 3 to 5 page PDF. So I have a free guide called the 9 email offers that get clients for free. So I advertise that, right? The 9 email offers that get clients for free. It's just a list, literally just a list of 9 email offers. So I advertise that, and the people who want more clients, other coaches generally who want more clients, they click on that and they put in their name and email address. Right. So now I've just generated a lead, and that's just such a simple way to generate leads. There's other ways. I just like that because it's simple and it's autopilot, right? So you can spend $10 a day generating leads, or you can spend $1,000 a day on that, whatever your budget is. So now I'm generating leads on autopilot. All I do from there is send 1 email per day. Okay. So it literally does 1 email per day. So that email builds the relationship, right? Establishes my expertise. And then it has a small, like a soft call to action to, hey, if you need more help getting clients, come join me in my program. That's basically my main client attraction strategy. And you can do other stuff after that, like have a podcast or whatever. But I wish I had just started with that in the beginning when I heard about it, right? Build your list, email your list. That's what we're always told. Your email list is the foundation. So that's where I wish I had started. Now, the tools that I use for that, really simple. You need a landing page builder. You don't even need your own website for that, really. You just need a landing page builder to get going, which is ClickFunnels or Lead Pages are the 2 kind of main ones. Just to get a simple opt-in page up for your free guide that you're giving away. And then an email system I use is called Active Campaign, right? So that's like an email autoresponder. So that's how you send out the emails to a list of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million people, right? Depending on how big your list is. So that was once I came back from London after I failed, I'm like, I just need to keep things simple. That's all I did. I'm like, I'm just going to focus on email, build my list, email my list. That's all I focused on. And I didn't even have a website at all. I got rid of my website. It was literally just an opt-in page for my free guide and sending regular emails. And when I kept things very simple, it allowed me, being a home-based business owner, just to actually save a lot of time, right? So all I had to do was send out an email per day, and then I can go, spend more time with clients, create more programs, more content, and spend more time with family as well.
Right on. That's awesome. Okay. So next topic is, the jam room is, your home office. So, where do you work? How do you have it set up?
I call it the hermit hole. Where do I work? Just in here. So actually you can see behind me, I do some music stuff like you, Tim. So I do some music stuff in here, but this is where I work, like from this desk right here. So I start at 2 in the morning. So I go to bed, What I realized after a long time, again, I'm a slow learner, my body, I go to my rhythms, right? So at 7 p.m. at night, like my energy just dives off a cliff. And I'd always tried to like kind of last till about 9:30, and I'd just be really tired. So I thought at the beginning of this year, like, why don't I just go to bed when my kids go to bed at like 7:30? And that's been like a revelation for me, because I go to bed when I'm tired, and then I wake up at 2 every morning, and I'm not tired at all. And that allows me to, I work from about 2:30 and get a lot of work done because everyone's asleep. My kids aren't screaming. And yeah, it just allows me to be more productive. And then I have phone calls later in the day, coaching and all that stuff. I've got a girl who works for me that runs the ads. Like, so I manage her. Like, she's my campaign manager that does the ads for me, and I do all the copy still. So I just work from this office. Just have 2 screens here. I've got a keyboard in front of me for my music. But it's pretty simple. So I just review my client campaigns with each morning with my campaign manager. Do my daily email. What else? It's pretty basic. I might have an interview, like for example, you, Tim, and what else am I doing? Just having sales conversations for people to sign up to my agency and my coaching program. So I have a very efficient business, right? So I have, and that's probably a big piece of advice for those running it, try and have the least amount of like, people working for you, right? I have a VA and a campaign manager, and I only just brought her on since I've been running ads since 2016. I only brought her on in the last month. Until then, it was just me doing all of the ads and stuff. So what I would say is like outsource or hire for the stuff that you really do not like to do. In the beginning, you need to learn how to do it, so that when you outsource it, you know how to train them properly. And if something breaks or the person leaves, you can kind of take back over before you hire someone. But yeah, in terms of my office, it's really basic. It's just like 2 screens, my computer, and a camera here. I do all my marketing videos. I have a couch here that I do some marketing videos from. So I set up a DSLR. I've got DSLR camera in there that I do like more professional marketing videos. But other than that, it's just this computer. Pretty simple.
Love it. Right on. Well, I'd like to know a little bit more about your business. So it's time for your guest solo. Tell me what's exciting in your business right now.
What's exciting? So I have my own podcast actually called The 15-Minute Client. It's a daily podcast, which if you're like a service professional, or you're looking to become a service professional, like a coach, it's mainly aimed at coaches, but really it's, you could be an accountant, a lawyer. It's about helping, coaches and service professionals get clients, basically high paying clients. So if that's what you need, check out The 15-Minute Client. I also have another podcast that I'm launching called 6-Figure Coaches. This with Luke Charlton. So that's where I interview other 6-figure coaches, other very successful coaches, finding out like what has made their marketing and sales process so successful, and I break down their system. So by the time this podcast goes live, this interview, which I think is going to be mid-October, you mentioned, then that podcast will be live as well. So I would say go check out The 15-Minute Client, go check out 6-Figure Coaches with Luke Charlton, and also my website. Jump on my email list and see how my daily emails work. It's a really simple, as I said, very simple way to attract clients. You just send 1 email per day. And if you jump on my list, so go to lukecharlton.com, you'll see how it works. You'll get an email, and don't worry, they're not kind of like spammy emails. They're entertaining emails. People really enjoy reading them. And that's one of the things that makes what I do different with my emails, is they're entertaining, and you'll see how I do it, and you can model it in your own business if that's a strategy that you want to do. And I teach you how to do it in the emails as well. So they're valuable as well. So go to lukecharlton.com, check that out, and the other podcasts.
Right on. So much fun to rock out with you today, Luke. This has been a good time.
You too, Tim. It's great.
So to the listeners, make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment, and we'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar Podcast.